Lewis, please.
There have been many false dawns in Iraq. Does the death of al-Zarqawi hail another one?
Max Hastings.
It would be nice to think so. We always have to welcome the success in killing somebody who's been responsible for so many deaths in such terrible circumstances. On the other hand, the situation in Iraq has developed a momentum of its own, and a great many people fear that whatever happens henceforward in Iraq, it's going to be impossible to sustain it as a unitary state. But removing this one man, I doubt if it's going to change a great deal. We are stuck in a very, very deep hole, and it's going to need a lot more than one death to change the fundamentals.
George Galloway.
It won't change a thing. The United States deliberately built up this Zarqawi as a bogeyman to try and perpetrate the lie that the resistance in Iraq are foreigners who've come from elsewhere, and that the mass of the Iraqis are with the American and British occupation. That was always a lie, and it will be seen as a lie tomorrow morning, post-Zarqawi, when nothing changes. Only 1%, just less than 1%, of all the military clashes that happen in Iraq on a daily basis are attributable to the Zarqawi group, the so-called Al-Qaeda in Iraq. That means more than 99% are indigenous Iraqi resistance. And if you read the chatter, if you like, of the people who know about what's happening in Iraq, it's estimated that up to 500,000 people can be defined as being part of the Iraqi resistance. And that will continue, I'm afraid. Max is right, we're in a hole. We've got to stop digging and get out of that hole as quickly as we can.
Do you agree that it was a very good thing and good news, as the Prime Minister said, that he was killed because it was a blow against Al-Qaeda?
I think he's a monster and a killer. I'm just cautioning you not to imagine, as Donald Rumsfeld and George Bush and Tony Blair and all those who were celebrating today try to convince you that it's going to change anything. Okay. It won't change a damned thing.
David Lammy.
I mean, I find it hard to say that somehow al-Zarqawi, a man who said and admits to being involved in 21 bombing campaigns since 2002, who was involved in the death of Ken Bigley, who beheaded an American citizen on television, that somehow this man has been built up by the Americans. This man has palpably been responsible for heinous and awful acts. So the fact that he is off the scene must be a good thing. It does not mean an end to civil unrest in Iraq. That is clear. The fight for freedom, for peace and democracy in that country goes on. But we should remember today also that the Iraqi Prime Minister has also announced a defence minister that is a Shia, a Sunni, and an interior minister that is a Shia, that he intends to move forward in a spirit of unity. That is what will bring freedom and peace to the people of Iraq. This is a good day, it is a stepping stone, and we must work to ensure that sectarian violence does not take that country, grip it and keep it like that for decades to come.
Does George Galloway not think that the 1% of the people that are going to be saved now that he's been killed is worthwhile, that those lives that are now going to be saved in the future because he's been killed are worthwhile?
Well, how many bombing campaigns, if Zarqawi's been involved in 21, how many bombing campaigns has David Lammy, Tony Blair and George Bush been involved in? They've actually bombed a lot more people than Zarqawi. How many people were beheaded by Bush and Blair? When you fire missiles at houses or destroy Fallujah, reducing it to ash and dust, believe me, quite a few people get beheaded. This is cant and hypocrisy. Bush and Blair are the biggest killers on the globe, not a tin pot tyrant like Zarqawi.
Well, you said the other day that you thought that the assassination of Tony Blair would be morally justified.
By an Iraqi, just as Blair is morally justifying, presumably, the assassination of Zarqawi.
My question is, what, in your opinion, was the death of Zarqawi morally justified?
Absolutely.
It
I
was.
could make a very sound moral case for the assassination of Zarqawi. The double standard is people in the media and in the government who shrieked in horror at the idea that any Iraqi whose country has been destroyed might have a moral justification for killing Tony Blair are the people dancing now and asking you to dance at the moral justification for killing Zarqawi.
All right. The woman in the middle there, bang in the middle of you. Yes, you.
How can you justify killing someone with that? Because isn't that just like saying they're just as good as each other? You
Lynn-
can't stop wars until people stop killing each other.
Lynn Featherstone.